See what happens. The first big news, the Prix, you've come into the box, barely a...
Yeah, 25.6 degrees air temp and 30 last time I looked during FP1. Comes to more grip, a better balance from the car. Ferraris, we heard Leclerc quite vociferous. Feels like driving on ice.
Yep.
So, yeah,
I don't know, but his car was jumping around a bit. That's not the conditions they go racing. So thinks back to his teammate Lando Norris when he will bring you this weekend.
Although I'd like to think the FP1 sessions that he gives up to a rookie driver.
Lando Norris leads the championship. Plenty of permutations. We'll bring them to you throughout the weekends. Where Sauber is here as well, stood at the back of the garage. But after 32 years and 607, and Carl Wendling are lined up on the grid in the South
African Grand Prix. JJ later, come on.
1,086 points for the team, the latest to compete. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do a guard of honour for Peter. Name's Ted Kravitz that it just screams for the Sauber years.
Definitely.
I don't think Peter Sauber paddock and on the grid.
I think Robert Kubica thinks that. Let me tell you about what's been going on. As you refer, largely depends on the setup work they do. Also some changes to Oscar Piastri's the car. Those changes largely finished. Saw the tyres as they came off Max's car. Happy at all. So had everyone else was having a similar kind of experience underneath him, both Oscar and Max now.
Qualified fourth, finished sixth last year. Before that, before we reflected on Sauber, to me, get on the front row, you give your
circuit that does reward a powerful.
Yep.
It isn't a race where it's per stint like we were at the last one.
Phew.
Qualifying is
a weird one, isn't it? Because you're absolutely right. We have 30 dot parks on the back of the boat. Sure.
I'm sure it hasn't got any.
Oh, well parked, Fernando or Lance. Pole has what? 10 times.
I wonder if it's got anything to do with the very short run. You know, it's a track that something extra out of it as a driver. It's stats are there to be broken, and I'm sure the man is just.
My helmet is pointing upward, please.
Understood.
It's going to make your eyes water. By the time we get to Abu Dhabi, and we've had teams have done their development, and
it's not a track where you see items that they can go through as we rate FP2.
Look at that, 7 wins this season. The could get 8 if they're all tied on 7. Oscar, so on a count back, he would win that. But quite frankly, and I haven't got that far.
It's just going to. They're going to be thinking firstly about the victory and see if there's anything that can be. Years ago in 2016 springs to mind with Lewis Hamilton.
Verstappen crosses the line to complete his code for you. If you want the chance of the race so you can impress your friends with all your knowledge, I will be using that. Thank you very much. Our code for you as we just watched the Ferrari. You need the Sky Sports login and your remote control. There's your parish notices for but the rest are mediums or hens, and then see what happens after that, and he is etc. Let's follow his progress.
This season he lost, I don't know whether it was a bit of confidence for the year, and maybe that just swung into where he had the low grips. Came good in terms of pace for the Aussie, but I'm sure he's going to, and certainly you've got to say, a bit of catch up because the other drivers have.
Fastest, he's nearly 8/10 off the pace up on his flying lap on the soft compound tyre. Soft tyres Behrman, soft tyres Hadjul for next year, and he looks slow. He goes quickest overall by about, no, it's now a second off the pace. There's a possible impeding here. Max.
Maybe he is.
Max was, the radio probably came to Max a little bit. So already there, Hans.
That's who this guy is.
Yeah.
I think malicious from Max there is just it was just reading the situation slightly wrong because he.
And it is possible to get that wrong at the moment because there are somewhat. Should we go trackside? We can go to turn 12, which is a fat timeout. Martin Brundle, good evening to you.
Actually, it's a little 90-degree right-hander. If they want to find themselves some space, prepare their time of speed. You see the Alpine going through there, easily gets out of the way. And when we've got an Aston Martin shenanigans start, especially during this, the sort of track furniture. But when you've got a lot of roll loaded, so you can do that, that means you can go through there. And that is Oscar Piastri. Now, he does that quite a lot, actually, if the backsliding, but then eventually straight. So that's pretty critical. But as Max Verstappen goes through, having been off throttle for quite a long time, sounds like track. And George Russell's Mercedes too. And I don't think that was. Interrogate and off the throttle last weekend in Qatar. So an important little section.
Yeah, thanks ever so much, Martin. We're getting really good change for next season. Drivers pick up the throttle.
Yeah, all that's going on there. Save more fuel, and normally aspirated V8s, that's when. So it does sound odd when you're out on track like loading the car up as you brake. So Orlando lose the rear end on his first proper picking, and you can't be aggressive therefore on the brakes. These drivers coming up to turn 6, fully loaded with downforce, and as the downforce bleeds off you, and that's what's going on in turn 12.
Yeah. I was talking to someone, a very clever person last night. So what you need to do is you've got to be like Back to the Future, you know, into the back of the DeLorean, and then
I'm sure
he says we're not. I said, I'm sorry. He said, who's for next year? Risk for next year, which I thought was a really. We're on board with Lewis Hamilton underneath him, and we've seen the struggles, haven't we, in the last few. Fastest overall. Lewis, by the way, of each. And there's Max Verstappen.
Lewis, another one of those drivers, of course, didn't take part, so Lewis back in action now, and 11 at this point as well, and so he's another driver that your feet and almost obviously there's a lot of good that comes from it, but a little bit counterproductive. You're very lucky in terms of
coming very much into an operating window that's being set by Hadjar.